Hey, how's everybody's day going? This is James from All Hail Internal Combustion. I got quite a bit stripped down on the Ford. The fenders and hood and all that's going on the other truck, and got a bit of stuff stripped out of the interior because the guy that's buying this cab has a blue dashboard and all that interior stuff, so he's going to be swapping all his over to this. So I started taking this apart. Screws everywhere. But what today's video is about is the extended cab is in the garage. A very rare thing for this. But Junior was out here till about 5 o'clock in the morning and cleaning everything and painting everything and getting this thing ready for its 4-barrel swap, which is finally happening. Because we got somebody that needs our 2-barrel, and I guess it's a perfect time to do a swap. So let's see what's under the whoopee. I got everything all cleaned up. We're going to be swapping these valve covers out. I got my Mickey Thompsons that we're still cleaning up, but right now it's getting the 4-barrel intake and the carb and getting all put back together. So bring you back in a few after I evaluate the situation. Alright, so I got the front of the water pump timing cover all cleaned up. Little purple power, little gas, little carb cleaner, blew it all out. Junior got the gasket surfaces all cleaned up already. So we're going to be ready to put our intake manifold on here shortly. And we wanted to block off our heat crossover. So we buy flat sheets of exhaust gasket material. We put that in. It measures out at 5/1000th of an inch thick. The new gaskets we're putting on are 6/1000. So hopefully we will get a decent seal there and not blow through the intake manifold with the heat crossover, because in the past we used to use the ones that came with the kit, and they would always just cook through. So maybe exhaust gasket material to the rescue.
And remember that we had the same Felpro gaskets on the Ford truck that we're swapping some of these parts from, and they had compressed to the same thickness. So we got to measure an already compressed intake gasket too. So
yes, we're going to go ahead and get our gasket sealer put on a block. On the Ford, you always want to put a little tiny bit around your water passages, on the heads, and on the manifold side, because that's where they're prone to being leaky at. So I'll come back to the engine and I'll go ahead and get some gasket sealer put on this thing. Alright, so I got my intake surfaces all cleaned up. Put gasket sealer, light coat around the water ports on all 4 corners. Put the Edelbrock recommends a 1/4 inch on your china walls, or whatever we're calling them. And I've got this thing ready to set the manifold down.
go ahead.
Got our manifold back down in here, and I am putting the bolts into the intake manifold. These are stainless steel fasteners from Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever that I had my other manifold held on with. It was on my truck, so we're just going to go ahead and reuse all this nice hardware.
We do this a lot on our nicer stuff. The Le Mans had all stainless. It's just nice because you don't have to worry about painting it, and it stays looking nice for long periods of time. It's cheap stainless, you know. It's not the nicest, but it's definitely better than running steel bolts, for the simple fact that they won't rust, ruin your new paint and your new paint job and everything. But this is a pretty good cost-effective way to use nice fasteners, unless you like paying APR's prices for new hardware, which some of that is just outrageous.
I mean, APR is good when you need your bottom end held together, you're running high compression heads, then yeah, APRs are cool, but to hold all my crap on my motor, I don't need APR.
You showed them the China wall.
Yeah.
So with this Edelbrock Performer, we'll be able to put our factory throttle linkage on there. We're going to end up running an aftermarket temperature sensor, but that would have worked from the factory one. Also the heater core hose. I could have probably got the 90 out of it, but we have another one, so we'll just use the other heater core nozzle tip that he already has. And then he also has a special water neck to run the electric fan. We'll be retrofitting into here. Or it's already done, but get that centrifugal drag off the front of the motor. The fan's out of a 50 Mustang, right? Early 2000s.
Yeah, it was out of one of them crazy Cobra Mustangs. And I retrofitted it a little bit and cut it to fit inside of a F150 fan shroud. Because electric fans are great and all, but when you got to pay for a decent one, I'd rather get one out of the junkyard.
Yeah, actually, I'll show that to you guys real quick. So that's the factory fan shroud from the F-150. And, oh, the blade fell off. We got to get a new circlip, but just used a bolt, nut, and a spacer on 4 sides. And spaced it out and kept the truck cool. Oh, that's a pretty big fan. And it probably moves faster in the motor on a regular basis, so.
I said at 15?
18. It said 18 and then 20, 18 and then 20. You got that's the second one. Third. So the Edelbrocks want those 4, not completely center, but in between, as you can see here on the torque specs. That's the sequence there. So he's just kind of snugging everything down, getting it all kind of symmetrical. But then we'll go to 18 and then to 20. I mean, it seems silly to just go 2, but that's what Edelbrock recommends on installing this, so we'll do it how they tell us to.
We always listen to what Edelbrock got to say.
Yeah, why not? It doesn't hurt, you know. It's not going to hurt to torque sequence them twice, so. Okay.
Alright, so I went ahead and I took this thing to 18 and then to 20 the way Edelbrock recommended. And usually on your intakes you'll start in your middle bolts, but they want you to do this next one going out. So here, 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 then here, 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 and here. Then you do your here, 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 and here. In 2 stages. So we're going to go ahead and let this thing set up for a while. We got to find some plugs for things. We got some gauges that need to go into the truck, and we need to put some vacuum ports in back there. And then we are going to be ready, and I also got to find my water neck with the electric fan switch in it so we can have that on there. Even though we're not putting the fan in now, why waste the thermostat?
So what we need for vacuum is for our booster, and that's it. I think that's the only manifold vacuum in the back. Does that go in the back of the carb?
It might.
Yeah, the Edelbrocks have the port in the back.
Got a bourbon port in the back of mine.
Right there. That's where your PCV goes.
Yeah, so we're going to gather up some more parts, get some more stuff painted, and keep knocking away on this thing. But I am liking that light blue, dark blue contrast.
Actually, that's pretty nice.
But I think it'll look better when it's all dark blue.
We'll get there.
Alright, so we have our vacuum fitting in the back, and we got a plug back in there. The vacuum fitting will go to the booster valve on the master cylinder. And I'm also checking the fitting of my temperature gauge, which will fit just fine. The water neck is going to be a little bit close, and what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to set my distributor in here and kind of index it so it'll work with this water fitting. I had a little bit of a problem on my other truck when I converted it over, but I think I got all the bugs worked out, and I'll figure this out relatively simply. So I'm going to grab the cap and set it on there, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. And it's another day. It's pretty much just down to buttoning up a lot of crap on this intake install. There's a lot of things to think about when you're doing something like this. You got to remember to get all your little bits and pieces, get your vacuum fittings. I need to put another vacuum fitting over there for the transmission modulator. Got my bracket done. I got to do some wiring. We're finally going to ditch the Spark box that's in here, so I got to redo some of that wiring. I'm going to redo a little bit of the wiring on this side. Hopefully ditch the red tape and get that done up proper. I need to hook my tack lead up. I need to hook my battery lead up for the HEI, because it was coming off the other way and all those wires are going bye-bye. So I want to start picking away at this thing. I think the first thing I'm going to deal with is getting that vacuum fitting back there out so I can get the modulator hooked up off the C6. Go ahead and fire it up. Cut it off. As you can see, we got everything done on the intake manifold swap. Pay no attention to them sloppy spark plug wires on the passenger side. I still got to go through and cut and trim them and get that all tightened up, but everything worked out pretty good. The engine's cold now because we had to take care of a bunch of small stuff, but the 4-barrel swap was successful after we figured out all the stupidity. And what we had to do because of our manifold setup, we had to put our vacuum advanced canister over on that side, but we do have enough room to adjust it. And we also had to take a little tiny bit off of the back corner of one of the hold down things just in case we need to go that far, but we ended up setting our timing where we didn't really have to worry about doing that, but we did it anyway. So all the wiring is taken care of and wrapped up and anything unnecessary taken out.
Including the silly ignition box.
Yeah, we took out the Spark box and I terminated all those wires we didn't need and wrapped everything up. So now it's just little final stuff, putting wire ties on and trimming wire ties off, and we still need to take this thing out for a test drive, but overall I'm happy with it. So that's it for the magical 4-barrel install, and we will see y'all next time. All hail internal combustion. Like and subscribe. See ya!